She called the cops before I even finished my sentence. "I'm not in your HOA," I said, standing on my own driveway. Across the street, she folded her arms like she owned the air we were breathing. "You are now," she snapped, "and you will follow our rules." Her name was Linda, but everyone on this street called her Karen when she wasn't around. She had that smile, the tight one that only shows when someone thinks they already won. A patrol car rolled up fast, lights flashing, doors opening. She pointed at me like I was a criminal. "That's him! He's refusing HOA authority and threatening the neighborhood." Threatening. I was holding a box of tools. The officer looked at me, then at her. "Sir, what's going on?" "I just moved in," I said calmly. "And I told her I'm not part of their HOA." Linda let out a loud laugh. "He thinks he's special. Everyone here is under Maple Ridge HOA." "I'm not," I said again. She stepped closer. "You bought the old Carter property. That land belongs to this community. You don't get to say no. That was the first lie." The officer turned to me. "Do you have documentation?" I nodded. "In the house." Linda cut in fast. "He doesn't live here legally. He changed the locks this morning. We already voted to fine him, fine me, for standing on my own land." I looked at the officer. "She's not telling you something." Linda's voice got louder. "He's harassing us." "He told me he doesn't recognize our authority." "I don't," I said, "because you don't have any." The neighbors were coming out now. Phones up, whispering. Linda lowered her voice and leaned toward the officer, like she was sharing secret information. "He's been aggressive. I'm scared for my safety." That was bold. I hadn't raised my voice once. The officer looked unsure. "Sir, can we see your paperwork?" "Of course," I said. Linda smirked. "This is going to be embarrassing for you." But as I walked toward my front door, she said something that made me stop. "Oh, and tell him about the access roads," she added sweetly. "He's blocking HOA property." "Access roads." I turned slowly. "What did you just say?" "The streets," she replied. "They're privately owned by the HOA. You can't just use them without agreeing to the rules." The officer blinked. "Ma'am, is that true?" She nodded quickly. "Our association owns all internal roads." That was the second lie. I walked inside, grabbed my folder, and came back out. I handed the officer a thick set of papers. "Page 4, I said. He flipped through. His face changed. Linda noticed. "What is it?" The officer cleared his throat. "Ma'am, according to this deed, the Carter property includes the surrounding easements." She frowned. "That doesn't make sense." "It says here," he continued, reading slowly, "the original developer never transferred the street titles to the HOA. They remained attached to this parcel." Silence. I looked straight at her. "Which means," the officer finished, "the roads you're claiming as HOA property belong to him." The whole street went quiet. Linda's smile faded for the first time. "That's impossible," she whispered. I kept my voice calm. "Not impossible. Recorded with the county 30 years ago." One neighbor lowered his phone slowly. "Wait, does that mean—" I nodded. "Yes," I said. "I don't just own my house." I looked down the long stretch of pavement where her SUV was parked. "I own the streets your HOA drives on." Linda's face turned pale, but only for a second. Then she did what people like her always do. She straightened her shoulders and acted like none of that mattered. "That document has to be old," she said quickly. "The HOA maintains these roads. We pay for repairs. That means they're ours." The officer looked back at the paper. "Maintenance doesn't equal ownership, ma'am." Her jaw tightened. "Call your supervisor." I didn't say anything. I just stood there while she pulled out her phone and started typing fast, probably texting the HOA board group chat. Within minutes, 2 more board members rushed down the sidewalk. Mark, who wore golf shirts even at night, and Denise, who treated every conversation like a courtroom. "What's happening?" Mark asked. Linda pointed at me. "He's claiming he owns the roads." "I don't claim," I said. "I showed proof." Denise looked at the officer. "This man is trying to disrupt our community. We have binding HOA covenants. Show me where his parcel number is listed," the officer said calmly. Denise froze. Linda stepped in again. "It has to be included." "It's inside our entrance gates." "There are no gates," I said. She ignored me. We've fined him already. For what? The officer asked. For refusing compliance. With what rule? She hesitated. That was the first crack. Mark cleared his throat. He put up a new mailbox without HOA approval. I blinked. It's a standard black mailbox. It's not the approved shade of black, Denise snapped. One of the neighbors actually laughed out loud. Linda shot them a glare. This is serious. He can't just move in and think he's above community standards. I finally spoke clearly. I'm not above anything. I'm outside your authority. The officer handed my paperwork back. Ma'am, based on this deed, his property appears separate from your association. Appears? She repeated sharply. So it's not confirmed. It's recorded with the county, I said. You're welcome to verify it. Linda's phone buzzed. She checked it, then looked up with new confidence. We're calling our legal advisor, she announced. This won't stand. I almost smiled. Please do, I said. She leaned closer to me, her voice low. You think you're clever? No, I replied. I just read before I buy. That line spread through the crowd like electricity. Mark whispered something to Denise. She looked nervous now. The officer stepped back toward his patrol car. Unless there's a criminal matter, this is civil. You'll need to resolve it legally. Linda's voice rose again. He's trespassing on private HOA roads. The officer paused. Ma'am, if what this deed says is accurate, you might want to be careful using that word. The word careful hit her hard. The patrol car lights turned off. The officers left. And just like that, the power she thought she had started slipping. But she wasn't done. She walked closer to me, lowering her voice again. You really want to make enemies on your first day?